A controversial policy that kicks homosexuals out of the military may soon be voted away. As News Channel 9's Anthony Garcia reports, some high-ranking El Pasoans seem to be okay with that.
I basically had to hide who I really was, and I could not serve in my true essence.
Gay soldiers may soon not have to live in the shadows of the U.S. military. Wednesday, the House passed another attempt to repeal the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy.
I stood up proud and said I was a gay man in the military, and I wanted to serve proudly.
Jose Rodriguez says he was discharged from the Navy after he was outed by a hospital and fellow soldiers. That's why he's happy the repeal is gaining support in El Paso, a huge military community. Representative Silvestre Reyes supported the repeal, saying soldiers are entitled to the same freedoms that all Americans enjoy in the workplace. So what does the commander of Fort Bliss think? We asked him in a public chat on the El Paso Times website. He replied in talking to our soldiers, "I do not think that repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell will be a big deal. Personally, I have always been against bigotry and discrimination."
It's exciting to know that they feel that way. And you know what, many more generals out there feel the same way. But to know that here in Fort Bliss, here in my city, he supports the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I'm excited.
Those who support Don't Ask, Don't Tell say the repeal will only hurt the U.S. military in a time of war. It's now up to the Senate to decide if that's a valid concern. Anthony Garcia, News Channel 9.
They don't know what I've gone through and they have no reason to be judging.
A local sailor who was sexually assaulted says he was victimized again when news was spread throughout the ship. The surprising admission of guilt by the Navy.
Covering major news across San Diego. 10 minutes of non-stop news starts now.
It was a brutal attack that was supposed to be kept private. Coming up, the surprising admission by the Navy after a local sailor says he was harassed by his fellow sailors.
I've been harassed, been called names.
Local sailor Jose Rodriguez was sexually assaulted, and he says the entire ship knows what happened to him. Now the Navy has punished one of its own for violating his privacy rights. In a story you'll only see here, 10 News reporter Sharicio reveals who else may be at fault.
Sailor Jose Rodriguez went to this club in Hillcrest for some drinks and dancing, but he says what happened to him that night ruined his career. Now the Navy is admitting it made a mistake.
He's a sailor with a past he wants to forget, but his flashbacks are vividly clear.
Me being forced down, held by my neck, with a couple of hands holding me down and opening my mouth while I'm yelling help.
Jose Rodriguez says he was drugged and then sexually assaulted by a group of men in June. The last thing he remembers was being at the richest nightclub in Hillcrest. He was missing for 3 days.
I woke up in a hotel room without clothing.
He says what happened to him was supposed to never get out, but somehow another sailor learned of the attack and spread the story to his chief duty officer, or CDO.
CDO reported to captain, he reported to your department, and that's how everything got out.
Rodriguez says he's been harassed consistently by fellow sailors and had his job's duties reduced. We contacted the Navy, and in a rare admission of wrongdoing, a spokesman tells me a sailor has been administratively punished for breaching Rodriguez's rights. Rodriguez's attorney, Dan Gillian, believes the hospital he went to may also be at fault.
What I understand is what he's alleging is that the hospital gave medical information to someone in his command, in his chain of command, that was not authorized to have this information.
For now, Rodriguez says all he wants to do is go back to how it used to be, but he says nothing will ever be the same.
They don't know what I've gone through and they have no reason to be judging.
Rodriguez's lawyer says he can't sue the Navy because it's prohibited by federal law. He does plan on filing a lawsuit against the hospital. In Hillcrest, Sharicio, 10 News.
Rodriguez has since been transferred off the ship. The Navy says it's an example of the system working because action was taken after a complaint was made.